$20 a month. That's what most AI subscriptions run you, give or take. It's become the number. ChatGPT Plus, $20. Claude Pro, $20. It's just the price now, the standard for real AI access. And $20 a month feels reasonable. That's a streaming service. That's lunch. For access to the most powerful AI tools on the planet, that feels like you're getting away with something. Except, what are you actually getting for that $20? Not what the marketing page says, not what the landing page implies. What are you actually getting in terms of access, in terms of how your data gets handled, in terms of what can change about your experience without anybody asking you first? Because once you start reading the fine print, and I mean actually reading it, the distance between what you think you're paying for and what you're actually paying for is kind of wild. Let's start with the most basic thing, access. When you see ChatGPT Plus, $20 a month, what does your brain assume? Probably something like, I pay $20, I get to use ChatGPT whenever I want, as much as I want. That's what paying for a service usually means. Here's what you actually get. ChatGPT Plus gives you roughly 150 messages every 3 hours on the standard model. Sounds generous until you realize the model you actually want to use, the newest one, the one that thinks, that's capped at about 80. And it's not even a fixed 80. The limits are dynamic. They adjust based on server load, which means during peak hours, the exact times most people are trying to use the thing they're paying for, the cap can drop. You might get 60 messages. You might get less. You won't know until you hit the wall. Claude Pro is similar. $20 a month gets you access that resets every 5 hours. Hit the cap during a deep work session and you're locked out. Just sitting there, waiting for a tool you pay for monthly. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Both platforms offer a way to push past these limits. Want to guess the price? ChatGPT Pro, $200 a month. Claude Max starts at $100. And even then, you can still hit the wall. So they offer add-on credits. Pay as you go on top of your subscription. I'm on the $100 Claude tier right now. Last month I burned through $238, and I was only 68% through my limit. That's not a subscription, that's a meter running. 5 times the price of Pro. Add-on credits on top, and I still get rationed. So what does $20 actually buy? It buys you a taste. It buys you enough to get hooked, enough to build it into your workflow, and then, right when you actually need it, a wall. And behind that wall is another tier, and behind that tier is add-on credits, and behind that is enterprise pricing that makes all of it look like pocket change. The $20 isn't the price of the product, it's the price of the demo. All right. Access is one piece. Let's talk about your data. When you pay $20 a month for an AI tool, there's a reasonable assumption that rides along with it. I'm paying for this, so my conversations are private. They belong to me. That's part of what I'm buying. That assumption is wrong. By default, and I need that word to register, by default, most major AI platforms use your conversations to train their models. Your prompts, your follow-ups, your creative work, your venting, your half-formed ideas at 2 in the morning. All of it gets folded into improving the model. Not for you specifically, for everyone, for the platform. Now, you can opt out. There's usually a toggle buried somewhere in the settings. But here's the design choice that tells you everything you need to know about how they think about this. It's opt out, not opt in. The default is your data gets used. You have to go find the setting and turn it off yourself. And most people never do, because most people don't know it's there. Think about what that means structurally. Millions of paying subscribers, people handing over $20 a month, are generating training data for the platform for free, on top of the subscription they're already paying. The company gets your money and your data unless you specifically go out of your way to tell them not to. And now, we're in early 2026. OpenAI has announced they're rolling ads into ChatGPT, starting with the free tier and the $8 Go tier. Ads at the bottom of your AI responses. Sponsored recommendations based on your conversation context. They've said the paid tiers will stay ad-free, for now, but the pattern is already set. The free tier that used to be clean now has ads. The $8 tier that launched a few weeks ago already has ads. And your $20 tier is one business decision away from the same thing. Here's a direct quote from OpenAI. "We'll always offer a way to not see ads in ChatGPT, including a paid tier that's ad-free." Read that again slowly. It doesn't say your tier will always be ad-free. It says a tier will be. Could be the $20 tier. Could be the $200 tier. That wording is doing a lot of heavy lifting. I'm not predicting anything. I'm just reading what they wrote. Now here's the one that's harder to put a number on, but in some ways, it's the one that matters most. When you pay $20 a month for an AI tool, you're building a relationship with a specific experience. You learn how it talks. You learn its rhythm. You figure out how to work with it. Some people build their entire creative process around it. Some people use it as a thinking partner, processing their day, working through problems, organizing the noise in their head into something usable. And then one morning, you open it up and it's different. Nobody emailed you. Nobody asked. There was no change log that said, "Hey, we're adjusting the personality of the tool you've been depending on." It just changed. The voice got flatter. The responses got more cautious. The thing that used to feel like a conversation now feels like an intake form. This happens all the time, and there's no opt-out toggle for it. When a streaming service pulls a show from its library, there's at least a notification. When a software tool changes its interface, there's usually a blog post. But when your AI fundamentally changes the way it communicates, the thing that is the product for most people, it just happens, silently. Usually after an update designed to make the enterprise version more compliant. You didn't consent to the change. You weren't consulted about the change. In most cases, you weren't even told about the change. You just noticed one day that the thing you were paying for doesn't feel like the thing you signed up for. And if you go to the forums and say, "Hey, something's different," you'll get a split between "you're imagining it" and "the benchmarks are actually better now." And maybe they are. The model might be technically smarter, but the experience is worse. The relationship is different. And nobody asked you if that was okay. $20 a month, and you don't get a vote on the single most important feature of the product, what it actually feels like to use. So let me just lay out what I think $20 a month should buy. Not as a pitch, as a principle. If you're paying for an AI tool monthly out of your own pocket, you should get honest access. Not access until you hit a wall nobody mentioned. Not access that degrades during peak hours. Access. You should own your conversations, not Own them unless you forget to flip a setting. Own them. Default private. Your data stays yours unless you decide otherwise. And you should get a stable experience. If the personality changes, you should know about it before it happens. You should have a say in it. And ideally, you should be able to keep the version you signed up for. None of that is radical. That's just what paying for something is supposed to mean. BUB costs $19 a month. So I'm not here to tell you $20 is too much. I'm here to tell you it should buy more than what most platforms are offering. At BUB, there are no rate limits designed to upsell you to a higher tier. Your conversations are yours. We don't train on them. And that's not a setting you have to find. It's how the system works. We don't run ads. We won't run ads. The subscription is the business model. Full stop. And if we change something about how BUB works, you'll know about it. Because when your entire business depends on the people using the product, not enterprise clients, not advertisers, not data licensing deals, you can't afford to break trust with a silent update. I'm not saying we're perfect. We're smaller, we're newer, and there are things the big platforms do better than we can right now. But the stuff I just described, the rate limit walls, the default data harvesting, the personality changes without consent, that's not a capability problem. Those are choices. And we made different ones.